talking about dreaming here. Who considers themselves dreamers? There we go. No. Dreamers. Now. We have to get to this point. Hello, Janet. We're such family here. We're just like, hi, yeah, how you doing? So I was thinking of this whole idea because I've always been a dreamer. And I remember my parents sometimes supporting that. And then sometimes it's time to stop dreaming and get a job. So I don't know if being a dreamer is always promoted. Not in society, but we don't care anymore about what society tells us because we're dreamers. Now, the question we have is, what kind of dreamers are we? So, definition, of course. What is a dreamer? One that dreams. How clever. One who lives in a world of fancy and imagination. One who has ideas or conceives projects regarded as impractical. Yeah, I remember. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to Hollywood. No, I don't think that's a great idea. Who asked you? I did. But what is a dreamer really? It's a visionary, right? It's a visionary. And without dreamers, we wouldn't even be in space, by the way. Science follows the dreamers because we dare to imagine what has not happened. And then science says, that's an interesting idea. You go ahead and move forward with that, and then we'll go in and try to prove it. And they did. I remember the whole Star Trek thing was based on, was created long before even some of the space that we have today. So dreamers are really important. The question is, are we big dreamers? Big dreaming takes a lot of daring to remove ourselves from what I call the mediocrity, that being okay with. And I was taught mediocrity. I've said it many times. I was taught there's nothing wrong with the C, baby. You're average. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if that resonates, because I never felt average, as you can imagine. So you can imagine. When I was going, I have these big dreams. Interestingly enough, I found this wonderful, you all know Neil Donald Walsh, the Conversations with God. I remember, by the way, when that book came out, I was walking down the street in Los Feliz in L.A., and this guy just walks up to me, and he says, I've got something for you. Anyway, and then I said, really? And then he said, I'll be right back. He ran over to his house. I know. But he says, I've got something for you. And I was like, this is odd. So he runs over and he's got this book, Conversations with God. And he says, you need to read this. And he had no conversation with me, nothing. I was so relieved that it wasn't something else that I was like, yeah. So I read this book, and then he said, just return it to me. And it really changed that evolution of my life. And that's what dreamers do. We are about evolution. Without dreaming, we will never evolve. And so I found this wonderful quote that he gives on his daily stuff, and it says, life is delighted to bring you the unexpected. Are you delighted to receive it? Yeah. Life is delighted to bring you the unexpected. Now, we've had a lot of unexpected things occur, but I don't know if we want to dwell on those. We want to talk about the great unexpected, massive, universal flow that we are a part of, as Rita so elegantly put today. Are you delighted to receive it? Indeed, belief in the coming of the unexpected is the genesis of hope. How can you hope for anything breathtaking or exciting if you can only hope for the already expected? Therefore, you must always think anything can happen. Form your ideas and your dreams within that framework. God, call it whatever you want, specializes in the unexpected. So what is this unexpected? We were talking about fantasies in the dream state, right? And dreams are interesting because usually you're asleep. But we're talking about being a dreamer and being absolutely awake. Awake to this incredible power. Oh, And I was sitting there thinking, this isn't about, I wish I could be like what Rita was talking about, because I've had these moments where I felt defeated. This philosophy isn't about stop that. It's about, what do I do when I feel defeated? What do I feel that when I'm on an island that I used to feel was so incredible to be in the Pacific Ocean and not feel in jail? Like I'm in jail on my beautiful island. How do I work that within me? That's my world. And so it really was wonderful when we went off into the world. I looked at a picture the other day somebody sent me of the Hollywood Bowl. And no, I don't feel like going back to the mainland, trust me. But the Hollywood Bowl, people were like, with those, fluorescent things, and they were listening to symphonies, and I was going, oh my God, they're alive. They're alive. It felt like a whole world that I didn't know any part of for whatever reason. But I went back to this. I went back to this idea that why is it that we stay at these levels? And I know for me, a lot of it's the teaching. A lot of it's don't dream too big. The biggest one is don't dream too big because you'll be disappointed. That was mine. Don't get too excited about that. My mom thought she was protecting me. Don't get too excited, because if it doesn't happen, then you're going to be, crying on my shoulder. No, that wasn't it. The biggest question in the world that I think is the hardest one to answer is, what do you want? If I'm in a session with someone, and nobody in this room, but if you're in the session with somebody or you're talking to somebody, forget the session. You're just down on the beach talking to somebody. What do you want, man? No, I'll tell you what I don't want. I'm tired of my girlfriend always doing it. I'm tired of this. And when I go to work, I am so sick and tired of, I'm sorry, you must have missed the question. The question was, what do you want? Because we can talk hours about what we don't want. And I'm frankly so bored with it. When you start boring yourself, you know that a shift has taken place. Just remember that. When you can't even hear yourself tell the story again, then you know, shifting is occurring. So Proctor, who we've just been 87 years old, it's so funny. I was talking about Proctor the other day. The reason I never followed Proctor is because, I said, wow, that old guy, what has he got to say to me? Until I got old. And then I realized that he had a lot to say. 87 years old, still reinventing himself. Holy moly, right? It was just like, what does that old person have to say? I know nobody says that here, do they? What does that old person have to say? Oh my God, you'd be so lucky to even have a little bit of savoring of what he's got to say. I love what he said. I paid a lot of money, Proctor, for your, words of wisdom, and I didn't have the results. Victim. And this is what Proctor said. Well, then you didn't follow what I said. He's that confident. You didn't follow what I said, because if you had, you would have had the results. Scientific, man. Scientific. No, I did everything. It goes beyond paying for it. That's only the beginning part, to write the check for the workshop and the class. Then you have to work it. This is what he was saying. I love the idea about fantasy. We have 3 steps that we get to, and it says in putting a goal together or something that you want. And this is where we start, with the present results, what I know. Now, I don't know about any of you, but we're starting a New Thought Village here on this island. It's New Thought Village, global New Thought. You heard it first, right here. And that takes a lot of dream. We've had that picture up there for 8 years. We're building this thing. But I'll tell you why it hasn't manifested. It's because I didn't listen to what Bob Proctor said. No. Why it has not manifested is I need a why, not a how. I'm never worried about a how. They'll write the check. I'm not worried about that anymore. And this is really good for me because I did have scarcity stuff going on. But I got to know why. When I married Rita, I had to know why it was so important for me to marry her. Right? Then I found out she wasn't as rich as I thought she was when I first started going out. And there went my new thought village. What am I? I'm kidding. That was just divine spirit trying to get a little funny. So this is what it is. The reason it didn't happen is because of the why. I got to know why it's important. We don't need another retreat center. Can't even go to them anyway if we did. But the retreat center, we don't. My question is for all of us. I'm all excited and sweaty now. This is good. This is like, are we coming here to be entertained or are we coming here to be transformed? Transformed. And guess what? You can have both. You can have both because I am very entertaining. And Rita and I together will transform this entire planet. And Rita's funny too, by the way. She is. She is. But that's the good question. Are you going to the workshop to be entertained? Am I going to listen to another, steps? I've got this, I've got that. But do I want to be transformed? We want to be transformed. Not get away from who we are because we're wonderful. But we want to get away from that idea that there's anything less than magnificence about us. So this is what we do. We start building from what we know. Well, that's very limiting in the world in which we're talking about right now. Then the other part of the plan is what I think I can do. What I think I can do. You know what it's like. You want that? I think I can do that. But then you start basing it on where I want a new car. Just let's throw that out. Well, I like what Proctor said. He said, that's not a goal. A goal is something you've never done before and probably don't believe you can do in this moment. That's what it's about. So let's go back to the why for a second. Why is it so important to have a global New Thought village right here on this island? Well, there's the Hindu monastery. Have you ever been there? That's pretty important. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of checks being written for that temple. Why? Because they believe in it. And what we believe in, what Rita and I came here to do, and what we came here with our hearts wide open and our wallets empty, we came here not as entertainers. We came here because we knew there was a transformation that needed to be taken, not just with us, but globally. And that we signed up for it or you wouldn't be in those seats. That's why you're here. To transform. You're not here to do anybody, not us a favor. We're not doing us any favors, no. We're all here favoring one another. That's why we came. Whew. Wow. So I met my buddy the other day on the global Kaua'i path. And he's from Texas. And so he's always got lots to say to me. And I don't let him know that I'm a minister. But he gets all fired up. See, I get all passionate, but he gets fired up. Don't get him talking anything to do with politics or anything. Guns, anything. No. And he goes, and I love how it's kind of like me in a way. He tries to stay like, centered. But before he's done, I'm going to tell you, Pat. Don't call me Pat. Don't call me Pat. Pat Trick. I don't know about you men, but I'm going to tell you. I say, what's your name, man? Patrick. Hey, how's it going, Pat? So I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but I'm going to let everybody know in TV land. The name is Patrick. I really like it. It's royal. And it's got something going. Pat. If you're a Pat, fabulous, but I'm not Pat. Anyway, so he gets very excited about me, and he starts Bible quoting me. He said, all these people try to use the Bible as a weapon. He says, you can't outdo me in the Bible. And he doesn't know, so I didn't want to say, I'm a New Thought minister, Howard. I figured that would be for another conversation at another time. But anyway, he was like throwing them out. Boom. boom, boom. And I was going, you know what? Instead of shutting down, man, why don't you listen to your brother and see if he's got something you might be able to take. If not, he'll make a great funny story on Sunday. So he says to me, I got one last one for you to go on. Because I was kind of moping around, and he's used to me running more. He said, I got one for you. And I had to look it up because I didn't remember it, but I found it. And it was from Timothy. And I don't care what verse and what thing, I don't know, but it's Timothy. He said, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. And I went, ooh, dude, that's science of mind. But I didn't say that because we had to stay on the level where we were. And he said, take that with you on your run. I said, that's pretty powerful. I said, I wonder why. He goes, but nobody's using it, right? I said, I'm saying it every Sunday. Oh, no, not Sunday. But I told him, I said, I'll tell you what. I said, do you want to know why we're not using it fully? If there is a power and spirit and it has no fear, and I'm only the one power and the love and the sound mind, that means that I'm sane, that I'm on target with my alignment. That's a lot of responsibility. Because I'm going to tell you, I hardly ever tell you anything. But this is what I said. Brother, if what Timothy has to say, and I said this to him, I said, if this people really believed what you just said, wouldn't we be jumping up and down? Wouldn't we be going, I got all the power in the world. What do I need now? Oh my God, anything I want. I can do it. I can help other people with it. You would be not even being able to breathe because you would find out that there was nothing against you. There was no power of fear. There's no God of fear unless it's outside yourself. And I went, wow. So he looked at me and I looked at him. I said, you know what? It's been a really, really wonderful time talking to you. Usually I avoid because it gets a little explosive. And I said, thank you. You reminded me of something. I'm going to take that. I'm going to go run with that. And he says, when you run out there, you're running with what you do, this love, this power. He said, those people aren't going to know what hit them that you're running by. And I said, thank you. And he said, you bet, Pat. And then I said, because this is what I'm learning about life. It's so delicious. Haven't used that word in a long time. All these things that I'm avoiding. Because part of me, I know better, and you'll find there's a little gem somewhere in there, if that's what I'm looking for. Instead of me avoiding my Texas brother, instead of avoiding him, I thought, if this is God meeting God, let's have at it. Let me know. So I'm going to end with a Joe Dispenza quote, because we're doing a Joe Dispenza class on the 15th. And I'm expecting all of you to be here because this is the month of daring. And this is what he has to say. I took after Rita. It's a long one, Rita. I always tell her, it's got to be short. So this is what Dr. Joe. What if people begin to believe in themselves instead of something outside of themselves? This is from the placebo. What if they believe they can change something inside of them and move themselves into the same state of being as someone who took a placebo? We all know the placebo, right? Placebo is nothing but it's done unto you as you believe. You bet. This will heal me? Thank you. This may not work? I better swallow the pill of doubt. In other words, he says, we can convince them that instead of investing their belief in the known like a sugar pill, they can place their belief in the unknown and make the unknown known. I want to go over that last line. They can place their belief in the unknown and make the unknown known. That's what this has all been about. This is about one simple thing. It starts in the unknown. It starts in the imagination. It starts with the idea. It starts, there's the creative process. I have an idea. Oh, I better drop it into that fertile ground. And then it, what? It grows. You nurture the ground. You nurture it. It's our creative process. And then I've been hearing lately, and he was going to be my end-in, but who wants to end with Joe Dispenza? Everybody's looking for some steps. They go, what's my steps? 3 steps to this, 20 steps to that, 100 steps to, dropping some weight, whatever it is. It's always a step. And it's good because we like process. I like it too. But, mostly if there's anything over 5, you're not going to follow it anyway. 20 steps, we can't even listen to a thing for over 20 seconds. So anyway, you get the point. But I got some steps for you. Okay, this is step 1. You do these, you're going to be fine. Step 1 is only one thing. There is something going on that we have just begun to tap. And it's a power. You can call it frequency. You can call it Mickey Mouse. You can call it anything you want. But it's what's breathing you as you're looking at me. This power that doesn't know anything about, well, I could have if I hadn't done that. And it doesn't know anything. It doesn't even know about forgiveness. Because there's nothing to forgive. It's just life. So then, if you can believe that, then you're on your way. But then there's a step 2, and this is where the self-deserving's coming in. There's nothing different between that power and you and me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Those 2 steps? What else would you do if you knew you were the power, the presence of everything that has ever been and ever will be? That's who I am. Now I can start asking for what I want, because who's going to refuse that? What's going to refuse that when I say the power of life is right? I can have anything I want. Does that sound, too much? Well, if it does, it will be too much, because it's done into you as you believe. Do I believe that every moment? No. But boy, when I do, I'm vibrating with the frequency of the divine. So then you get to claim anything you want. And then there's step 4, go for it. Thank you. I give you something, you say, thank you. This is mine. This is mine. Oh, but I can share that because I have it all. Proctor, a funny little side note, he said that he made all this money, but he didn't know how to handle it. He just knew that there was no end to it. And he just kept, how do I spend it? Spend it. He just kept spending it, but the problem was he had to get somebody in there that knew how to take care of it. So thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm vibrating at the frequency of whatever it is I need, a house, a relationship, whatever it is, the perfect body image, it doesn't matter. And then you say thank you, number 4, and then 5. Oh, 5's the sweet one. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. If I said I was going to give you everything you wanted, why are you still standing in my way of me giving it to you? There's a power that says, yeah, finally they gave me some direction. This is what I want. This is how I want to live. This is how I want to feel. And then you start getting in there and micromanaging the whole thing. And it's saying, get out. I wonder how it's going to happen. How it's going to happen. All my bills are paid in full. Oh, shit, it's the 31st. I live my life in the 11th hour. No more. Let go. Let go. Get out of the way. You've done your work. Now let the power do that through you. I am just exhausted. And I bet you are too. But guess what? This was our fortunate day. Because if we took with this incredible spiritual leader, this incredible example of spirituality, this music, and you took just that for today, you'd never have to come back. But this is why you do come back, not to get, we come back because we say, we'll nurture each other. What are you manifesting today? Me too, me too, me too, me too. Has a whole nother meaning. So I love you. This is our time of power. And when we deflate a little, like the balloon, it's okay. We'll assist each other. That's what we're doing here. We're coming here to assist one another. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. And it's good to see everybody online. I love you. Namaste.